For the best prices and service on Pokemon TCG singles and products, check out ccgcastle.com and use promo code Evolutionaries-5 for 5% off your next order. Hello, Pokemon fans! I'm Professor K for the Pokemon Evolutionaries, and today I am going to be showing you guys our PSA submission for June 2018. It's been a little bit since I've submitted cards, so it's time to do it again. As you guys can see, there's a little bit of a preview of our very first card we're sending off right there. This is an all Charizard submission. I've gathered together as many Charizards as I can. I actually took a lot from the box that Cobra sent us. You guys saw that. I took a few of, actually I think I took like 6 or 7 of his Charizards. We're sending them off to get PSA graded. So really excited to see how this turns out. Plus, there's quite a few in here of my own as well. So this will be a really good submission for sure. You can never really go wrong with grading Charizards. Some of them are not going to be as high value. Like this one, for instance, is a non-holo Charizard G. There's, you know, nothing super special about it, but it's still a Charizard. So why not just go ahead and grade it, right? So as usual, we're going to be using Ludkins Collectibles for our PSA submission services. I highly recommend them, guys. They've done a fantastic job for us. They've really done a lot for the community in general. They've been showing up at tournaments and things like that as well, so you guys can meet Charlie in person. He is the U.S. representative for Ludkins Collectibles. Guys, show them some love, show them some support. Check out their Instagram as well, Ludkins USA. You know, just in general, great company, great middleman service, great prices, and they are insured. They are insured. They insure any card in the continental United States from shipping to the time it gets back, from shipping it to them to the time it gets back. So as soon as they get it, everything is insured to PSA and back and to you. If anything happens, you're covered for the value of the card. So that's really important to know as well. But anyways, check them out. Link in the description down below. All right, so our first card we're going to be sending off here, as I said before, is this non-holo Charizard G, level 65 from Supreme Victors. This is a pretty good card. I mean, like I said, all Charizards are worth grading. It doesn't really matter what you're even going to get for a grade on them. But this is pretty clean. I didn't really see too much of an issue with it. It's got a couple of little white spots there on the corners. So I'm going to say that this is probably like a strong 9 candidate, provided that there aren't any scratches, which it's hard to tell based off of it being in a sleeve. But there is... you know what? Oh, no, it's a piece of dirt. You're fine. Yeah, I don't see any issues with it on the front or the back. At least I didn't beforehand. So yeah, no. I think this is a pretty strong 9 candidate. It might even be a 10 candidate. It may not be the strongest 10 in the world, but it will definitely be a 10 candidate in my opinion. We'll see what Charlie has to say, which is, by the way, another great thing that Ludkins does. When you send a card off, if you're not sure about it, you can send it to him, and instead of charging you the full price of grading the card, he can just charge you $2 and send the card back to you with your order once it's done. So he gets a pre-grade, and he sends it to you based off of what he thinks that the card will get, and being in the business of PSA grading for as long as he has, it's usually very accurate in my experience with him. So you guys can have an idea of what to expect on a card, and he'll send it back to you if you don't like the grade that it might potentially get, because a lot of times he sees things that even I don't see. So anyways, I feel like this is probably a 9 or 10 candidate. Next up here is this holo Charizard from Power. I was gonna get graded, and I think I did actually. Now that I think about it, I think I did go through with it. I was debating whether or not I wanted to do it, but I got it. And this is the holo version of that card. Now, the holographic pattern on it is very pretty. I've always enjoyed this particular holo pattern. It's Galactuare, I think, on this side. Yeah, you can just see it barely. Now, it might get past someone grading at PSA because they are obviously, you know, very busy over there. It's very hard to see, though. The only thing is there's a tiny little nick down here, a little bit of white. So again, this is probably going to be a 9 candidate. I think it's going to be a high 8, low 9. But in any case, still a good card to grade. Even though it's not the most valuable Charizard out there, it's still Charizard, and people love Charizard. Even if you don't, there are plenty of people who do. All right, next up. This is the holo Charizard that I pulled out of my SM6A booster box that I got from Mecha Japan. Straight from pack to sleeve. This is definitely a 10. I mean, there's just no reason why it wouldn't be. There's not a spot of imperfection on it at all. It's very nicely centered. Yeah, this is a 10. There's just no question. Japanese cards, you can almost be rest assured that they're going to get 9s and 10s as long as you didn't do anything to them. Next up, we're going to grade another one of these bad boys right here. CP6 Charizard Holo. I already have 2 of these, I do believe, and I love grading these cards. They're great, and they're, you know, they're important enough to stay relevant. They look like the base set Charizards, and they're Japanese. I mean, they do great. I don't see any imperfections on the back of the card. I don't see any imperfections on the front of the card. Maybe one little spot up here. Yeah, there's a little spot, I think, right there of an imperfection. So again, this is going to be probably a 9 or 10 candidate. I feel like that's possibly looked over, that little spot up there. So it's either going to be a 9 or a 10, no doubt. No doubt. Japanese cards are just too good like that. Speaking of Japanese, the next card we're going to be doing is this Charizard EX. This is from XNYA. I didn't realize that said XYA before. Wow, that's kind of interesting. So this was the Charizard that we saw in Flashfire here in English. So let's take this out of the sleeve, take a quick look at it. Again, Japanese, no issues with it. It's, you know, there's a little nick right there. Again, nothing major, probably a 9, but still worth grading. I think there's actually a little bit of white up there as well. I think this is probably going to get a 9, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. So put that back in the top loader, and we're going to grade one that looks just like it, but it's not in the same set. Evolutions Charizard here. Also a reprint from Flashfire. And this card is really, really nice. Not much in the way of imperfections that I saw beforehand. This card is probably going to be a 10 candidate. It may not get a 10, but it's a 10 candidate for sure. One thing I don't like about these cards sometimes is that the edges tend to lip up just a little bit, and I don't know if PSA really takes off for that or not, but I guess we're going to find out. And if they do, then it probably makes it a 9. Otherwise, I feel like it's a pretty strong 10. All right, put that back in there. All right, now we're going to grade a few of these bad boys right here. I got 4 of the Charizard EX Full Art from the Charizard EX box back when Generations was a thing. They're all pretty strong. I don't think that they're going to get 10s, but I'm pretty sure we've got at least a 9 on our hands there. Probably an 8 or a 9 on this one. Probably an 8 or a 9 on this one. And again, probably a 9 on this one. I don't think that this one's going to get a 10, but I feel like this is my best one. It'll probably get a 9 or a 10. So between 8, 9, and 10 on all these, but I feel like they're probably all going to get 9s. Just my opinion, but we'll see what happens. We're going to grade all 4 of them, though. All right. So we got 4 cards left, and these are by far the 4 that I'm most excited about. 2 of these I pulled myself, and 2 of these came from my buddy Cobra. The first one is this Mega Charizard EX from Flashfire, or a 10. So if I look at the back here, I think this is probably a 9. Because again, English packs tend to have these little nicks like there, and there's one down here, and there's a couple up here, but it's not so bad that I think it'll keep it from getting a 9. Pretty much this is a 9. So non-secret rare Mega Charizard EX, Charizard X version, definitely solid 9. And even in that condition, it's still pretty valuable. The next up card we're going to be looking at here is this Reverse Holo Charizard from Expedition. Now, this is one of the more sought-after Charizard Holos. Well, I mean, this is a reverse, but if this was a holo, it's probably one of the more sought-after Charizards. The E-Series era cards are really spiking lately, and this is one of them that it's Charizard, you know? Even the reverses are going to be pretty valuable. So this card's pretty strong. I didn't feel like it had much issue at all. This is probably a 9 or 10 candidate. I think it's a guaranteed 9, but there's a chance it might actually even get a 10. Let me just take a quick glance at this here. One thing you got to remember too, guys, I know a lot of you are like, oh, don't touch the card, but honestly, it really doesn't affect the PSA grade whatsoever by touching the card. And you see me putting fingers here and there. I'll put it this way. I had a Celebi, the Celebi, which one? Shining Celebi that I pulled myself, and I touched it all over the place, and it came back a PSA 10. So don't worry about that. But that's just for you guys who think that might make a difference. Honestly, this card is just about perfect. So really thank Cobra, because this was his card. But if it does get a 10, it's staying in my collection, so that's fine. I know he'll appreciate that fact. But nonetheless, strong 10 candidate here. Might get a 9, but strong 10. Now, speaking of hollow versions of that card, hey, how about that? We got one right here. Now, this one is beautiful. Again, it's got that hollow pattern that I really like, that galactic hollow, and it's the hollow version of that last one that I just showed you. Now, let's take a quick look at this one. I don't think this one was quite as good as that one. Just taking a quick look at the edges here. No issues, no hollow scratching that I can see. No imperfections at all, really. Let's turn this card over. Okay, yeah, we got some quarter nicks here. So we got a quarter nick down here. We got a little bit of whiting here and here. And we have another quarter nick here. Again, we got a little bit one up here too. Yeah, nothing so major that I think that this keeps this card from getting any worse than an 8. And I'll honestly be a little surprised at an 8 because I feel like it's an 8.5 to a 9, but I'm hoping for a 9. A 9 will be really, really exciting on this card because just they're so hard to find, to be quite honest with you. I mean, it's not as rare as a Gold Star or a Shining or anything like that, but it's still hard to find these old E-Series era cards, and a Charizard Hollow with that, definitely not easy at all. So hopefully that little nick down there doesn't turn it all the way down into an 8, but we'll see. At the very least, we know it's going to get an 8. I don't think it's a 7 in any way, shape, or form, and I'll be outraged if it gets a 7. But again, I could be missing something that Charlie sees. He'll let me know either way. All right, and the final card that we're submitting for this PSA submission is this Mega Charizard EX Secret Rare that I pulled out of a Pyroar box. I literally pulled this one and the other Mega Charizard X within weeks of each other somehow, and I don't know how, but we did it. This one is the Secret Rare. It's not the strongest because, again, English cards can be damaged in the packs, and it's unfortunate, but it's got some edge wear issues down here, and it's got, I don't think it's a 10, but I think it's a 9. And I'm happy with a 9 because English cards are just so hard to get 10s on. There's just not much you can do about it. So hopefully this gets a 10, but if it gets a 9, I'm still happy. Overall, we have a pretty strong submission here. I feel like they're all going to be 8s, 9s, and 10s. I don't think we're going to see anything worse than an 8. And I'll be surprised if we even see that many 8s. I think we see a maximum of 1 or 2 8s. But this is one of my bigger submissions that we've sent off here to PSA. Usually we do 10 at a time, and this time we're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We're sending off 14 cards. So it is one of the larger submissions that we are sending off, but it's not the last time we're going to do something like this. I'm trying to do a couple of themed submissions for you guys. The next one's also kind of exciting, so I'm looking forward to that one when we send off. Probably going to do July, maybe August, but probably July, depending on finances and stuff like that, because it's still, you know, even the prices that Ludkins does offer, PSA grading is not a cheap hobby in any way, shape, or form. I mean, this is still a fairly pricey submission, but it's worth it on the return of some of these cards. So that's going to do it for this PSA submission, guys. This is the crown jewel right here from this submission. This is the one that we're looking for to get the best possible grade out of everything. This Mega Charizard EX right here. So really, really excited to see how these Charizards turn out. They could be potentially very, very valuable. So thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to check out the PSA submission service that we use, Ludkins Collectibles, in the link in the description down below. Shout out to Charlie for being an awesome dude. Check out Ludkins USA on Instagram, and we will see you guys next time. Take care and have a great day.